you need to know like what your event stands for, why you are doing the event. In this industry we're in, you're almost like obligated to like also have a good time because all the juicy deals are done waiting for the tequila shots. Being seen is like the number one way. You could have played Coachella, but like if you tell me about it, you know, in person, that's gonna land way more than if you show me in an email.
How do you guys strike a balance, you know, between being rock stars as you are DJs and being businessmen?
Discipline is very important. That's something I had to learn like on the job. I think when we were just DJing, I think it would be very easy to be very hedonistic, to like just enjoy yourself because it's like, dog, people like what you're doing, you know, you're consuming things, like it's nice. But then you need to sort of be an example to other people. I think as you begin to like bring people into this thing you're creating, you have to sort of, it's not enough to tell people how to conduct themselves. You need to show them. And so that sort of helps to build an important part of discipline. I think in this industry we're in, like you're almost like obligated to like also have a good time because I can tell you like all the juicy deals are done waiting for the tequila shots. Like I can tell you right now. So you really have to sort of balance like, okay, when am I tapping into that? But then also when am I also keeping a level? Because you have to, when you are steering the ship, you know what I mean? Like you have to have that level head to be able to make decisions.
Right now, most of the time they look for either DJs or people who do like upbeat, up-tempo music. So I wanted to know for Afropop artists, how do I go about it? Because I was thinking of doing events, but I also wanted to know what other gigs should I aim for or should I look forward to in the future?
Being seen is like the number one way, more so than any email with any crazy CV. Like you could have played Coachella, but like if you tell me about it, you know, in person, that's gonna land way more than if you show me in an email. So that's number one. Number two is identifying in your space. Okay, so now you know that you have to be out. So in your space, what are the places that you can go to that speak to what you're doing? So for example, for something like an Afropop, I know, for example, Artistry in Santon do a lot of like Afropop, soul, R&B type events like regularly. You know what I mean? Like a place like that is a place where you can meet people who are in the space that you want to be in. Untitled Basement's another one. I think even though it's a bit of a different space, but like a space like a Narrow By is a space where you will meet like-minded individuals. So it's really about identifying and then just sort of being there, being outside often. Not so often that like it's now beginning to drain you, but like the people you're looking for are out there.
I think also just doing your own events, like you are the headliner of your own show, right? You bring your friends, there's 10 of them. You give them the best show, you record it, you package it, you put on YouTube, you put on TikTok. Like you also have to be your own like advocate, because if let's say I don't know your song and I don't know how Afropop sounds, but if I see it and I like it, I'll buy into it. So if you want people to buy into Afropop and all of those things, just create the product and sell it. A lot of artists don't gig a lot, like R&B artists, like you have to do things. I saw Elaine at Strictly Soul, and I know like it's like you have to be, because Strictly Soul is like one of the biggest R&B properties in Africa. She's an R&B artist. You need to be in those spaces. You like say I will MC, you'll do anything. Like you also need to make yourself available to these spaces, because they will then be the catalyst to take you far. Even if you're not performing, you're just helping with something, you're at the door. You need to understand your audience as well. in how you're going to then speak to them. So if you go to an Afropop event, like he's saying, you not understand how to communicate. Like those small things go a long way.
When it comes to content and marketing, what would you say are some of the biggest pain points for an up-and-coming event?
We have a chess social event that we do once a month. And maybe something that we maybe weren't doing so right in the beginning that we're doing better now is really sort of showing in a short amount of time, like, what is this thing all about and how is this thing something that relates to me, you as the person viewing. And composition is like a big part of that. So like, for example, like in a frame of a picture, this is in the context of the event I'm talking about, having the chessboard, a person in the picture, maybe looking nice or whatever, a drink on their side. Like, what are you communicating there? You're communicating that this is chess, it's social, there are cool people there, I think I'm cool, I can play chess, I wanna go, you know what I mean? So you need to know like what your event stands for, why you are doing the event. The why is always a big thing. Like, I think Kanye could tell you very easily, like, why he does any given Sunday. And because the knowledge of that is so powerful, or so strong, should I say, he's able to then direct a photographer or a videographer to be like, yo, dude, like, these are the real touch points that you really need to do. So maybe in a short answer, like, you just really need to know why you are doing what you're doing.
Just to add on there, bro, with each event, like the why, for example, like for any given Sunday, it's the home of hip hop. So you'd want your content based more around hip hop, the streetwear, the style, the sneakers, the rapper on stage performing, like those action shots. Whereas, like you was, Neo was saying with the chess, as people playing the chess, it's more not focused on the person, but more on the activity that's going on. So I think if you can find the highlight of each event that you're going to and emphasize on that instead of just taking a picture of a pretty face.
I'm glad you said that, because like photographers, like, I think it's very, very important that, like, whether you are hiring photographers or just photographers in general, you see a lot of photographers take portraits of girls exclusively. And it makes a lot of sense because girls are pretty, you know what I mean? But like, you not really like communicating a lot, you know, about the event. So that's also another important thing.
What you also should consider is doing your research on the type of events or the market that you'll be going to. So it's one thing to just have a really dope video of the movie and be like, yo, I want to come to this at your show. I'll be like, there's 50,000 of you guys. Why would I pick you? You know what I mean? So I think you should do research on the event, the history, the background, attend the event, and then you can tailor your content around, like I said, that specific niche or that specific, the highlight of the event, so that you kind of make it easier. It's like even when you're trying to approach a sponsor or a brand, you need to go to the bar, ask them for a sales report, see do your people actually even consume that product. You need to know if people actually enjoy that product. So by the time you go to the brand or by the time you approach the event promoter, you're already halfway through the door. You know what I mean? So you're already coming through the conversation, and then by the time you show me the content, it's a signed deal.
Yeah, I think what Kanye's saying is that, let's say if you guys went to that event and said, hey, we have gotten you 100,000 like views or whatever, it's very easy to be like, oh, okay, I didn't get 100,000 views. So if you can do this again, and if proof of concept is much easier to show, where it's like, okay, cool guys, we've done this 5 times as an example. So in the 5 times, this is the result. It becomes very difficult to say, we don't need that. Like, you guys need to be a necessity, not a desire. Because people always want to take photos, they always want to take videos, but if what you do is something that I don't have, that's when it becomes valuable. Like, our video person for our event, there's no one who does what he does. So it becomes very difficult to be like, okay, we'll take someone else. But if someone gives us something different that we don't have, that's when it becomes desirable.
calling out all content creators, from artists to podcasters to any creator who uses any form of audio. You can now upload your very own audio clip from a song to a content clip and promote your work using the MTN Caller Tunes platform. The cherry on top is you can use the Caller Tunes to make some moolah, cash, pesos by getting your fam, friends, and fans to use your Caller Tune, which will mean money in your pocket. So basically, every time someone listens to your Caller Tunes, likes it, they simply press any key from 1 to 9 to download it as their own, and that is a win for you too. You can submit your audio through AMP's very own distribution channel with MTN by sending it to the very email below. And of course, through Caller Tunes, you get access to the creative world of AMP Studios with access to our resources from recording studios to podcasting equipment to events, networking sessions, and all of it. Get as creative as you want with MTN Caller Tunes and AMP Studios.
Your marketing background has been quite, a key proponent in your work and your understanding. But I feel like you guys are very well versed in what you're doing, and I commend you in that. And I take it that you didn't study event management or eventing, right? You came in as DJs. So how did you equip yourselves? Like, what were the learnings? How did you get to be so well versed in these lingos? Were these two events that you're promoting currently your first attempts, or do you have any experience with failing at doing this?
When it comes to background, so my strength is I'm a creative, so graphics. I'm very good at designing, so I would design the look and feel.
Yeah, he's not telling you guys, but he's a fashion guy. He used to make clothes.
Yeah.
He used to own a fashion brand.
All-rounded entrepreneur.
There we go.
But my strength, I think, would lie more in the graphics side, designing. So I would say focus on your strength. You might not be great at marketing. You might not be great at communicating with people. I might not be a people's person. So find your tribe. Find someone that is a missing piece. So okay, I'm good at designing. This person's very extroverted, is good at marketing. So you'd find someone there to help you on your team. And it's just a trial and error thing, eh? I would say when we say be consistent, doesn't mean be consistent in changing a lot. Stick to your guns. For me, Any Given Sunday is our first event. Like I said at the beginning, the venue owner was like, try something. And we failed a lot. But that's the lessons that you learn. Remember, Al is a lesson. So if you take that into consideration, now don't spend money on that, or don't go to that supplier, so that's how you keep growing. So by the time you get to the level that you're at, it's harder to lose. And yeah, find your tribe. You just need to find people who are like-minded, who are just as committed to growing to your vision. Yeah.
So I studied sound engineering. So that's my qualification. So obviously, I guess it does lend itself into the DJing a little bit. But my role in the company is a lot more, it's very different to that. I'm much more of the financial guy in the company. Yeah. So very, very, very numbers focused, very on our stats, I'm on our admin and stuff. And this was just stuff that I gravitated more towards, because I had a natural inclination. I'm in school. To add on to what Kanye said about finding your tribe, I think part of what makes Thube and I work so well is that we are very, very much polar opposites. Not opposite in the sense of in a clashing way, but Thube is very right brain with a splash of left. I'm very left brain with a splash of right. So, he has that room to then be creative. I trust him to when it comes to speaking to people, when it comes to creative sort of decisions, I can trust that Thube knows what he's doing. He's good at that. And in the same way, he can trust that when I tell him, okay, this thing is sitting at 48% versus 50 last month, you know what I mean? Or looking at our stats, or looking at the financials, he can trust that I also know what I'm doing. So finding people who fill your weaknesses is super important. I think you will find very few event promoters or event agencies or anything in this game where someone did it alone.
For us, is that like the level of background we I think we speak on as DJs and how it's affected us as being promoters is we've been to so many gigs and we're like, don't like this, don't like that. Oh, I wish this was there. I wish that was there. If I was a DJ, I'd like this. So then you take that and you're like, okay, cool, crafted it into your events. But then in our events, we obviously speak of Soundset, right? So Soundset is our biggest event property. So
also our first event, by the way.
Yes, also our first event. But then our company name is French for New. And in French for New, you'll see there's 2 other event properties that we do, right? The one that we do is like a nighttime event called Rare. Last year, super flop. Not super flop, but then we were aiming for about like 800 to 1,000 people. We did 200. We lost money. We almost didn't host Soundset starting last year, right?
Because of the money we lost.
Because of the money that we lost. But people don't know that. We had to then take out a loan. Like these things are like we had to do, but then you obviously can't be like, hey guys, you don't have money. Like we put out a flyer and we're like, how are we going to afford this? Like, so those stories are there, they exist. You have to have a lot of delusion in what you're doing, because you also like you have to believe in this thing so much, right? And there's a level of delusion and craziness where you're like, I don't know how, but it is gonna happen, and you just have to be like, you just have to believe it. If you believe in something so much, there's no way it doesn't work, right? And how it works and what that means looks different for everyone, right? Not everyone hosts 1,000 people. Not everyone hosts 500 people, but some people host 50 or 100. So maybe change your notion of success and how that looks, and then grow from there. My favorite thing to do is to just start, right? And there's a saying that, I don't know where I heard it or found it, but if you take care of the work will take care of you. What you give out is what you get back. Energy, amashakra, whatever. Like that whole thing is a thing that does exist in this universe, because there's no way if you give out good, it has to come back. It just has to.
Go to more events around the space that you're trying to be in. Not necessarily have to go to Congo or whatever, but try also gain knowledge from these people and understand. They will give you a lot of advice, like just ask. As well, instead of like, you don't always just learn on your own, like at a cost, like you took out a loan. You know what I mean? So you don't just minimize that by going to these spaces. There is a community in the space. That's why you started the event, right? Because you saw a market. So there are other markets that are within that space. So you just need to go, even like intern for them if you have to, gain that knowledge, and then you can go start your own again.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because it also just reminds us, because that like to see the full picture and to see how real it is, and how, it's not easy. Like you have to find strength from imaginary places. Thank you guys.
Sebenza, 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 sebenza kanzima.